Good afternoon to our friends and visitors, and welcome back once again to our English program. As usual, I'm Daniel Cook, your host, 6 days a week, presenting you with a translated version of today's news stories. In today's news, in the Foreign Commission meeting, the leader of the Commission, Dade, called the president to urgently appoint an ambassador to Macedonia, considering the recent events in Kumanov. She made this statement: "In this situation, the president needs to review his decision against our candidate for the ambassador to Macedonia. Our candidate comes from a background of diplomacy." The opposition backed the president in the Foreign Commission today. The former foreign minister, Aldo Bumci, agreed with the concern that there is currently no ambassador to Macedonia, but he blamed the foreign ministry for this problem. He said, "I have the same concern as the head of the Commission about the lack of an ambassador, but I want to point out that this is because of the lack of cooperation. The foreign ministry failed to consult with the president as the law on diplomatic service requires. The breach of this 20-year tradition has caused this situation. I hope that the recent events in Macedonia have made the foreign ministry reflect and change its attitude," said Bumci. Regardless of the differing opinions, the Albanian lawmakers agree on the necessity of appointing an Albanian ambassador to Macedonia. The European Union will soon be communicating with the leaders of the Albanian government to address the issue of the high number of Albanian asylum seekers heading to Germany and other EU countries. Admitting that the figures of the recent months are concerning, the spokeswoman of the European Commission, Natasha Berto, reminded Albania of the agreement that it signed on visa liberalization. She said that this massive migration to the EU countries is unwelcome. "We have seen the figures, and we are monitoring the situation," she said. "The number of the asylum seekers is very high, especially in Germany. We are ready to help Albania, and we will contact the Albanian and Kosovar authorities to discuss the actions that need to be taken. But I want to emphasize that we have an agreement with Albania on visa liberalization," the spokeswoman of the European Commission said. According to the latest data provided by the German Immigration Office, 4,794 Albanians tried to gain access to Germany in the month of April alone, 1,700 more than in March. Albania is ranked first on the list of asylum seekers, leaving Kosovo, Syria, and Serbia behind. Last Friday, the German officials made the decision to drastically accelerate the procedures to process the asylum requests so that the immigrants will not stay longer than 2 weeks in Germany. Since Albania is considered to be a safe country, Germany does not offer economic or political asylum to Albanian citizens. The King of Jordan, who is one of the most influential people in the Arab countries, is currently paying an official visit to Albania. He was received by the President, Bujar Nishani, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ditmir Bushati, was also present to welcome the King of Jordan, despite his disagreements with the President over the appointment of ambassadors. When the meeting was over, President Nishani and King Abdullah held a press conference. President Nishani stated that a visit from the King of Jordan is a foundation for strengthening the cooperation between the two countries. King Abdullah said that Albania, as a country where the Muslim faith prevails, can play an important role in the fight against terrorism. He said, "We will work together against the threat of terrorism. Our countries should fight together to stop the Islamic State militants." King Abdullah will also have a meeting with Prime Minister Rama during his visit. Tomorrow, IPR Marketing and Ora News will be publishing the first polls for the local elections. At 9 p.m. on the program Tonight Il Vittore, the preferences of the Albanian voters for the cities of Tirana, Shkodra, and Durrës will be revealed. The results of 2 more polls will be released on June 1st and June 16th, and after the elections, the initial exit polls will also be revealed here on our station. Reporting on the polls has now turned into a tradition for RTV Ora News, which has decided to cooperate with IPR Marketing for the 3rd time in the upcoming elections. The cooperation produced very accurate results in 2009 and 2013, which should serve as a guarantee to the viewers that they can learn the winners for these 3 cities from Ora News before they are officially announced. Prime Minister Rama was in Lushnje today, where he presented the candidate of the left-wing coalition, the Alliance for the European Albania. Mr. Rama responded to the recent Democratic Party accusations, saying that he is not threatening the Albanians if they vote for the Democratic Party. He did, however, encourage the citizens not to vote for the Democratic candidates because, according to him, they do not serve the country. He said, "We cannot work with mayors who are afraid to cooperate with the government. How can we work with mayors who are afraid to meet with the Prime Minister because they are afraid that someone might see them? It is not possible to work together in this way. The Democratic Party says that I am threatening people, telling them that they will have no water if they vote for the Democratic candidate. I do not threaten people. We have chosen a path and we are going in the right direction. We have shown that we have a clear vision by restoring the destroyed cities. We need a mayor who works, not someone who spends his time giving press conferences against the government. We need mayors who will cooperate with the government in order to keep every promise that we have made," said the Prime Minister. The candidate from the left-wing coalition, Veliaj, met with members of old Tirana families today to get their blessing for his electoral campaign. Veliaj promised them that he will open a museum in order to bring back the values that have been absent for a long time. He said, "Together with the government, we are planning to transform the Bujar area. The project will be funded by the government and the American Development Fund. After the changes that we have planned, the area will once again be a touristic attraction." Mr. Veliaj pointed out that these elections are for the citizens and not for the political parties. He said that the reforms in Tirana are of special importance because the city propels 50% of the country's economy. The Democratic candidate for Tirana, Mr. Halim Kosova, met with the Association of Taxi Drivers today. He responded to the Prime Minister about the relationship between the local government and the central government. Mr. Kosova said that he is in fact willing to cooperate with the Prime Minister if he is elected as the new mayor of Tirana. He said, "I have been the director of a hospital for 15 years. There have been different prime ministers during those years, and I have had good relationships with them, as well as the ministers. The citizens are the priority of my work." He promised that he will fight informality in the taxi industry, which is a big problem for the drivers. Informality, which I would call corruption, destroys equality in the market and offers uncontrolled services, he said. "I think that your industry should be constantly improved," said Mr. Kosova. Earlier in the day, Mr. Kosova held a meeting with the residents of Skopje, promising projects for their area and a reduction of taxes. That concludes our news for this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. Please be back with us tomorrow at the same time for more Albanian news in English. Thanks, and have a great night.